Okay, we heard some poignant words from Lord Townshend King about the breakdown of marriage and family in Britain, and actually it's absolutely right. And we have to really understand what this means, because there's a lot of things going on here in society which are totally not ideal. And there's a lot of laziness in people's thinking, there's a lot of lack of provision of things which are absolutely normal. Let me just give you some points of view, some information. When you consider that 14% of all marriages break down in the first 5 years, you wonder, what the people were thinking about when they got together. When you hear about the reduction in marriage, you don't just have to listen to that statistic. You have to also know that there's a lot more people cohabiting. And cohabitation is not the same as marriage, nothing like it, because it lacks the very subject which we're talking about here in 2 weeks' time, and that is the word commitment. And that's what makes a relationship last. So there's a lot of discussion, a lot of thoughts going on about whether marriage breakdown is a bad thing for society, whether it damages children. We discuss it endlessly here in Great Britain, in America, in Australia and other countries. They've already concluded long ago that it does. It's just that we're a bit slower here in the UK, unfortunately. So we're faced with that sort of situation, that a lot of people are living in a non-ideal situation. Children are living in families which are not nurturing them and raising them up. Also, a lot of couples staying together, but their relationship is poor. When you hear a statistic that 1/3 of couples in America are distressed, they use that word distressed. It means they're upset with each other, they're fighting, they're in trouble in their marriage. That's about the same in Britain. Then the atmosphere that the kids are producing, or are living in, I should say, the parents are producing for the kids, is very poor. So faced with that question, faced with those challenges, when we started our work 2 years ago, we asked ourselves, where should we begin? We can begin with parenting, we can begin with the role of grandparents, or sex education, or we can do lobbying to the government, we can do couple relationship education. I wrote down a few more here. We can do study about single parent families, character education, single parents. It goes on and on and on. We decided to ask a few experts, and we heard and were guided to start with couple relationship education. So that's what we are doing, and we're doing it with a lot of power. Now, why that? Because if you get the man and woman relationship straight, everything else follows. In Britain, 4,000 times as much is spent on parenting as it is on couple relationship education. But anybody with common sense in this room will know that if two people are conflicted, they're not really going to learn much from parenting classes. So I don't know where the government got their ideas from, but they're not thinking straight. Let me just turn over the page here. So what did we decide to do? I'll just read you out a little bit of the things that we're up to, and then I can disappear off the stage. So we decided 2 years ago to set up a committee, and we did a lot of research, an awful lot of research, to find out what is marriage and family, how does it work, who does what, and what are the limitations of what's happening in this country. We also studied Australia, America, Norway, the Middle East, all kinds of places. So we've done that work. We've had some major conferences in 2007, 2008. We've got a plan for 2009. We've already trained quite a few people in some programs which are called psychometric inventories, which just means we find out how a couple is getting on in their relationship, what their strengths and what their growth areas are. We don't talk about weaknesses, growth areas. So we trained some people in Bromley and in Birmingham to do that. And we're working on even a leaflet to reach people who are not religious in register offices. 2/3 of people marry outside of a religious organization. So they don't get to hear about this couple relationship education at all. If you were going to drive a car, would you take driving lessons? Why bother? Just get in the car and drive. Right? If you're going to use a computer, would it be useful to know how to use a computer, how to use it efficiently? Or just teach yourself? And so on. yet we treat couple relationships actually in the way I just jokingly mentioned in getting into a car. We don't train people, and you're not born with a manual on how to be a good husband or wife. You have to learn how to do that. And there are certain things that we can do. So we have a lot of work going on now, actually, interestingly, with interfaith societies up in the Midlands and also in Hastings. We have exploring how to reach different faith communities, particularly some of the faiths that are represented in this room, because we've discovered quickly that there is a lack of penetration into these faith communities. And we're doing a lot of other kinds of things. So later on, I'm going to be able to explain to you in depth the kind of work we did or do, and also what we need, what manpower we need, and initiatives. Thank you very much.